I want to share something on Obamacare that, a lot of things have been said on this floor about the problems with Obamacare. And I do want to elaborate a little bit about that in a minute, but not right now. I only want to say that 2 months ago, when my good friend from Texas, Senator Cruz, and 11 of us were concerned about trying to do something to stop Obamacare, and we took some pretty drastic steps. He actually stayed up and spoke all night. I did not, but I spoke during the evening and again in the morning. But I told a story at that time. It puts it into a context that people don't understand. And the story was this, that keep in mind, this was 2 months ago. I said that it has been admitted by Obama and by many of the leaders, even the leader of the Senate, that the ultimate goal of Obamacare would be the single-payer health care system. Very much like was talked about back in the early 90s when Bill Clinton was president and Hillary had her Hillary health care. And at that time, it was going to be one that I think it was ultimately going to be a single-payer system. Now, as you well know, Madam President, a single-payer system by definition is socialized medicine. And that's what it was going to be at that time. And I remember talking, and we ultimately did defeat it, but at that time, I would ask the question, I said, well, wait a minute, you're talking about socialized medicine. It doesn't work in Denmark, it doesn't work in Sweden, it doesn't work in Canada, it doesn't work in the UK. Why do you think it would work if you were doing it? Now, they never tell you this, but most of them will say, well, it may not work anywhere else, but if I were running it, it would work. Well, we defeated that back in the 90s. Then now some time has gone by, and we have very much the same situation. We have a system that is edging into socialized medicine, a single-payer system. This is what they want. This is what liberals normally do want. And they somehow think that government can run things better than people can. So I told this story. I say to my good friend in the chair that it had been, keep in mind this 2 months ago, it had been just less than a year before that my wife, and my wife is just a year younger than I am, something happened, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, she found out that she had to have emergency open heart surgery. It was a valve that was the problem at that time. And we did some research. And she immediately had open heart surgery. It's successful. She's great now, and they replaced the valve and it'd be in really good shape. But the point I'm making is, if this had happened and we had been citizens of Canada, we went and checked, someone that age with that kind of an emergency would have to wait 6 months before they could determine whether or not they're going to allow them to have that operation. If it were UK, it would be 2 months. And that would be, she wouldn't have lasted that long. Now, that was to let people know that when it hits close to home, that it really means a lot more, instead of just talking about how many people are not happy with enrollment and all of this stuff. Well, ironically, what happened to me 5 weeks ago was exactly the same thing. I ended up having to have an emergency surgery of 4 heart bypasses, and I got to thinking that just a few weeks before I've been talking about my wife wouldn't be here now. That's how serious this is, because those individuals who are talking about Obamacare, they really want a system that government is running, and it hasn't worked anywhere else in the world. And in cases like mine, I would have be on the waiting list, and I probably would not have made it this far and would not have been here tonight.